Hello everyone, my name is Namita Tyagi. I am working as an assistant professor in BCA department, IMT College of Management, Greater Noida. Today I am going to deliver my YouTube lecture on CPU scheduling algorithm. So let's begin with first slide, that is outline. This slide covers the topic what is process state diagram, what are the scheduling criterias, what are process schedulers, and what are the scheduling algorithms that we have to follow to select the process. So let's start with what is process. The process is a program under execution, or we can say that the process from its creation to completion passes through the various states. The minimum number of the states is 5. These are the following states that we have covered in these slides. The name of the states are not standardized, although the process may be in one of the following states during execution. So the first state is the new state. Second is ready state, then running state, waiting, or terminated state. The waiting state is also known as the blocked state, and the terminated state is completion state. This diagram show the process state diagram, means how the process enters into the new state and finally goes to the another state and last goes to the terminated state. So when we talk about the new state is that state when the process is about to be created, means the process is about to be created but not yet created. It is the program that is present in secondary memory and that will be picked up by the OS to create the process. After the new state, means once the program is being created, the process is enters into the ready state. After the creation of a process, the process enters into the ready state. That is, the process is loaded into the main memory and then process goes to the running state after dispatch. Whenever the process is in running state, after that it is terminated completion of its execution. If any interrupt comes in the running state, then the process again goes back to the ready state, or from the ready state, the process can go to the waiting state or the blocked state when it requests to some another resource like input and output resources. So after the completion of its request for another resource like input and output resources, again this state from the waiting state or the blocked state again goes back to the ready state, and then the process similarly goes from ready state to running state, and from the running state, when the CPU is allocated or assigned to the process is again goes to the terminated state after the completion of its execution. So when we talk about the new state, means the program or the process which is going to be picked by the OS into the main memory is called a new process. Means this state is said to be the new state when the process is not yet created. It is about to be created, means it is picked by the OS. After the new state, process enters into the ready state. The process is being created. Now it directly enters into the ready state, means the process is picked automatically by the OS and it enters into the ready state, in which it waits for the CPU to be assigned. Because from the ready state, the process further goes into the running state, means CPU is being assigned to the process so that it will be easily goes into the running state. The OS picks the new process from the secondary memory and put all of them in the main memory. After that, from the ready state, the running state comes. One of the processes from the ready state will be chosen by the OS depending upon the scheduling algorithm. Now it comes to the waiting state. Wait state is also known as the blocked state. From the running state, the process can make the transition to the block or the wait state depending upon the scheduling algorithm or the process inherent behavior of the process. Means whenever the process goes to the wait state, when the request will be initiated by the process for some another input and output resources. So the process goes to the waiting state for some time. After the completion of its another input and output process, again process goes to the ready state. Now the next state is terminate state. The terminate state is also known as the completion state. When the process finishes its execution, means the CPU is free by the process. It comes into the termination state. All the context of the process will also be deleted. The process will be terminated by the operating system. Means all the resources like input and output resources will be automatically released by the process, and CPU is also released by the process and it's completed its execution. So the next term is what is CPU scheduling? Means what is the process of CPU scheduling? The CPU scheduling is a process that allows one process to use the CPU while another process is delayed for some time due to the unavailability of any other resources, such as input and output resources, etc., thus making the full use of CPU. The purpose of main motive or the main purpose of CPU scheduling is to make the system more efficient, more busy and faster. Means why the CPU scheduling is necessary. Until and unless we want to remains the CPU as busy as possible. Means CPU does not remain idle. So the next is scheduling criteria. What are the scheduling criteria we have to follow? First is CPU utilization. Keep the CPU or we want that the CPU remains busy as possible. Throughput, the processes that complete their execution per unit time. Burst time, time required by a process for CPU execution. The total time required by the process for complete its execution is known as burst time. Turnaround time, the time of amount of time to execute a particular process. Next is waiting time, the amount of time a process has been waiting in ready queue. Response time, amount of a time it takes from when a request was submitted until the first response is produced, not output, for time sharing environment. So the next term is process schedulers. What are the process schedulers? How the process is being created or enters into the different stages depending upon the schedulers. Schedulers decide on the basis of some scheduling algorithms and changes the process state accordingly. So let's start with this slide. Select from among the processes in the memory that are in ready queue, that are ready to execute, and allocates the CPU one of them. CPU scheduling decision may take place when a process switches from running to waiting state, switching from running to ready state, switching from waiting to ready state, and finally terminates. There are three types of process schedulers: long-term, or we can say that job scheduler, short-term scheduler or CPU scheduler, and third one is medium-term scheduler. So we will discuss about the long-term or job scheduler. It brings the new process to the ready state. Means the working of the job scheduler brings the new process to the ready state. It controls the degree of multiprogramming. That is the number of the processes present in the ready state at any point of the time. We want to achieve ultimately the maximum utilization of the CPU, and multiple programs should be executed by the CPU so that we can achieve the degree of multiprogramming. It is important that the long-term scheduler make a careful selection of both input and output resources or the process as well as the CPU bound processes. So next scheduler is short-term or CPU scheduler. It is responsible for selecting one process from ready state for scheduling it on the running state. Short-term scheduler is also known as CPU scheduler, only selects the process to schedule it, does not load the process on running. The dispatcher means the short-term scheduler is also known as the dispatcher. Dispatcher is responsible for loading the process selected by the short-term scheduler on the CPU, means from ready to running state. It is responsible for the responsibility of dispatcher is enters the ready state, process enters into the ready state and then converted into the running state. Next is medium-term scheduler. It is responsible for suspending and resuming the process. It mainly does swapping, means moving the process from the main memory to the disk, and again vice versa, means from disk to the main memory. Swapping may be necessary to improve the process mix or because a change in memory requirement have overcommitted available memory, requiring memory to be freed up. It is helpful in maintaining a perfect balance between the input and output bound and the CPU bound. It reduces the degree of multiprogramming. So the next term is first come first serve scheduling. It's the scheduling algorithm. We have covered different scheduling algorithms in this lecture. First is first come first serve, means that whichever the process enters into the ready queue will be executed first. For example, P1, P2, P3, these are the three processes which enters into the ready queue. P1 enters the ready queue first, so it will be automatically completes its execution firstly as compared to the P2 and P3, depending upon its arrival time, burst time, and finish time. Automatically, turnaround time will be calculated as completion time minus arrival time, and waiting time is equal to turnaround time minus burst time. So next algorithm is shortest job first. Shortest job first scheduling algorithm. In this, the process with the lowest burst time will be executed first. Means the process having the lowest burst time as compared to another processes will be executed first. After that, the next process will be executed among the list of available process in the ready queue. That is, the secondary is going to be scheduled next. It means in the shortest job first algorithm, the process having the lowest burst time will be executed first. For example, there are three processes that are in the ready queue A, B, and C. The arrival time for process A is 0, B is 1, and C is 2. So automatically the process A, which having the burst time 3, which is lowest from the process B and process C, which is when we compare about the burst time of process A with the another process B and C, it is lower, it is lowest. So the process A will be executed first. After that, the process B will be executed, and then the process C will be executed depending upon their burst time. Next is SRTF. SRTF stands for shortest remaining time scheduling. This algorithm is the preemptive version of SJF, shortest job first scheduling. It is the preemptive version of SJF scheduling. In SRTF, the execution of process can be stopped after certain amount of the time. At the arrival of every process, the short-term scheduler schedules the process with the least remaining burst time among the list of available processes and the running process. It is also very much similar to the shortest job first scheduling, in which the short-term scheduler look after the process having the least remaining burst time will be executed first among the list of available processes in the ready queue as well as in the running queue. It is the responsibility of short-term scheduler to decide which process will be executed first. So it will decide that whosoever the least remaining burst time will be executed first. After that, the next scheduling algorithm is round robin scheduling algorithm. In this algorithm, every process gets executed cyclically, means on the basis of certain cycle, every process gets executed within a period of time. This means that the process that have their burst time remaining after the expiration of the time quantum are sent back to the ready state and wait for their next turn to complete the execution until it terminates. This process is done in FIFO order. FIFO stands for first in, first out order, which suggested that the process are executed on a first come, first serve basis. This is the Gantt chart related to this process A, B, C, D. The time quantum will be decided for the further execution of this A, B, C, D process. The time quantum here is 2 milliseconds. Means for the 2 millisecond, for the process A, CPU will be provided for the process A, whose arrival time is 0 and the burst time is 2. So only for the 2 millisecond, the CPU will be provided to the process A. After that, B is in the ready queue and the CPU will assigned or allocated to the process B for 2 millisecond. Means depending upon the time quantum that we will initiated before the algorithm, for which time quantum the process will be executed for that period of the time. It will automatically follow the first in, first out order. So this is all about of my YouTube lecture. Thanks for watching.